Hello. Happy afternoon. Today is April 12th, 2023. It is 3:28 in the afternoon. And I have something I really cool that I've kind of developed that I wanted to share with you if you want to come along with me. Before I do that, and in the comment section, I'm going to post some things happening for through the rest of this month and into next month. I've got a lot of very low cost or very free class offerings if you want to grab them on. So I'm going to put some of these um, up on through mid May. I'm going to put them all in the comment section so you have them. I hope it there we go. So on the 15th, we have the Greater Seattle Tarot Meetup. That's this Saturday. If court cards get you down, join us. You can join the Greater Seattle Meetup group on the Meetup website, and this will all be on Zoom. So it doesn't matter whether you live in Seattle or not. And then also, I'm doing a very free, very 101 1-hour lunch webinar in partnership with Alternative Balance Insurance. They have hosted the webinar for me, and I'm going to do a super 101 little tarot thing. So come join us, bring your deck, bring your lunch. We're going to have a great time. And then on 4/19, I'm going to be in the evening. I'm going to be doing something in partnership with kind of my local library system for another webinar for new readers. You can join that. And then, oh my gosh, there are just so much going on. Then let's see here on the 13th, with the Tarot Association of the British Isles. That's Saturday morning at 9 a.m. We have Questions Are Your Superpower. So that is just some of it. I put it in the comments. But most importantly, you can go to my TikTok or Instagram, and that will take you directly to my link tree in my bio, which will give you all the direct links to these events coming up. Lot happening, a lot of amazing things happening. So that is kind of it. And I wanted to get into this really fun thing that I kind of developed as Geminis do. So I want to have fun with you on this. I think it's a really cool way to approach readings. So we will get into it. So what I'm going to do is, I'm sorry, I'm just grabbing my screen share here. So this is what I'm calling dancing spreads. And it's a concept I came up with where we making this spread an intuitive process in the same way that we kind of choose our cards, right? So when you do a reading, you may have a spread in mind that you've chosen depending on what it is that you want to know from tarot. So let's just say you have a past, present, future. I need to know what the situation is: past, present, future, body, mind, spirit. One card for each position. And then what we do is we often shuffle the cards, and whether we pull the cards from the top or whether it's randomized from a spread that we have cast, we don't know the cards that we're pulling, but we definitely know the spread positions. And so why can't we also randomize or make intuitive the process of creating the actual spread? So this is really about taking a static spread and kind of breaking it into something that's going to be a bit of a movable type. So if we allowed the spirit to choose and help us choose the cards, why can't we allow spirit to help us choose the spread? Because spreads are spatial, aren't they? It's not just a numbers game. That when we look at a spread or the creation of the spread, we begin to see relationships between them, relationships as well as processes and flow. And if we randomize that, we actually get to some really cool information that we would not have been able to maybe deduce on our own or find on our own. So we allow spirit in to do that piece with us. And the cool thing is spreads like this with each iteration, it can come up with a new focus card, focal point, or process. So let me get into what it is that I'm talking about here. So I'm going to add my screen share here. Okay, so this is my table. And for this spread, we are going to be using the soon, very, very soon to be out and very, very beautiful Tarot of the Witch's Garden by Sasha Graham and Natasha Ilinich. So this is beautiful. We'll get into it. So this was a spread that I was maybe thinking to try to create as a charm casting spread, but I found myself at a loss in terms of how I wanted the spatial elements of this spread to go. And so the name of the spread is called The Journey to Myself. Let me move the lighting a little bit so it's a little darker, a little more clear. And then I have aspects that I just kind of intuited around what did I want to explore. So I took the pieces, and because I didn't have anything on hand directly, I have just these business cards of mine that I then just taped the different aspects of the spread. So here we have the journey to myself includes who listens, carrying, intention, healed, damage, lesson, and breakthrough. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather these together and I'm going to turn them over just like I would a regular spread. And then I would shuffle them kind of like so. And then I'm going to decide just very, very intuitively how I want this spread to maybe look. And there's no right or wrong to this. It is just whatever feels right to me at the time. So without turning them over, I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put one here. I'm going to put, so I'm getting the idea of a tree maybe. So I'm going to make a bit of a tree kind of example. Like so. Maybe this idea of like a tree here and then a piece here. Then I'm going to take this one here and say, this isn't important. This is not part of the spread. I've decided I don't want this one in the spread. It's kind of outside the spread. And then I'm going to take this one and then maybe make a blocking maneuver like that. Okay, so I have no idea what's actually under these cards. I don't know which aspects of the spread have been chosen. So then what I'm going to do is I am going to pull some cards and put one card for each position. And I'm going to do that before I know what the positions really are. So I'm just shuffling them, just like I shuffled the position statements. And then I'm going to pull some cards and then we're going to take a look. Which one do I want to be first? I'm going to work backwards. So that one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. This one's going to go here. This one is going to go here. This one is going to go here. This one is going to go here. And then I'm also going to choose one for the one that's not important. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at all of these. So now we have kind of the system that I've intuited. We know that it's the journey to myself. And so now let's get into what do we uncover? What cool aspects are in the spread here? So first we have here carrying. Then we have who listens. Then we have as the block breakthrough. Over here we have intention. Oops, wait a minute, not the card yet. We have damage. And over here we have lesson. Interesting. And then over here, like what's not important. And so when I still do a reading on what's not important, what I'm looking for is kind of what I taught in my book, Have Tarot Will Travel, which is looking at the white space. What's been intentionally not included and what can we surmise from that? So this has not been included, and its lack of inclusion in some ways also gives you extra information. Oh, that's neat. So healed. So what we're looking at here, the journey to myself, carrying, right? Like what have I been carrying? What's been on my docket? And who listens? Maybe even who, and we mean this in like a spiritual sense, who's been paying attention to what I've been carrying and why? And breakthrough. Breakthrough is kind of a block, meaning like this is the breakthrough has to have some kind of relationship in some way to who listens. And we're going to see that as we go into the reading. Over here, so we have carrying, who listens, breakthrough, and the tree leaves kind of that it grows towards. We're looking at the flow of the process, is that intention. Your intention is created by these things. But also there's been damage even that have been created by these things, right? That breakthroughs can also be damage in many ways. That's that rock bottom, right? Like it's a hard thing. It's not just woo, it's like, ooh, there's the tower. And what are the pieces left that we have to work with? And then we have the lesson. Now it's interesting that healed is pulled to the side. So it tells me that the focal point of this reading really is the interaction between who listens and breakthrough and then lesson. So let's get into it. So for carrying, we have Ace of Pentacles. Who listens? We have the Page of Cups. Oh, okay. Breakthrough. What's the block? What's getting in the way? Is Temperance. I know what this is about for me. And then from those things, we come to a place of intention, death, and then damage, the Hierophant. And then the lesson is the Moon. So healed. Now, healing, this could be something that's already been healed, something that's already occurred, but it can also be something that is something that is to come, but is not necessarily part of the process right now, for right now, of the journey to myself. And we have Nine of Pentacles. Oh, I think this is the past piece. So I'm going to get into the interpretation of this. Let me see if I can make it a little brighter. The sun keeps having clouds in front of it and not, so that changes how bright things can get on my table. And let's go in. So let's first look at, so I'm going to move these things so we can look at them a little more closely. We have carrying. So I've been carrying Ace of Pentacles. Now, I think that this has to do with me renegotiating a relationship that I have to work and and resources and a poverty mindset, and trying to find something that feels a little more sustainable in the long term. So I've been carrying all of these resources, and also I've been carrying maybe even the uh, the pressure of carrying these physical things in my life. It feels like it's a lot, or even that the carrying is that this is a gift. So I've got to do something with it. I've got to make this happen in some way. And this carrying of this Ace of Pentacles is the start of one of many stories, which is the journey to myself. So from carrying, we get to who's listening. Who outside of your conscious mind is a part of this process? And what we have here, and when I saw this, this is in the deck. Let me see if I can get a little closer. I'm going to have to turn the light on just a little bit more to get us where we need to go here. This is Page of Cups. And immediately my intuition went, oh, that's my inner child. My inner child is listening. This is maybe who's even driving part of this. So we have carrying, right, which is all of the work of the material world, your resources. But who's listening, who wants to come out and play is my inner child. And she doesn't really care about, she doesn't care about making rent, does she? She doesn't care about mortgage. She doesn't care about retirement or accolades and all that. She just wants to be in the garden. She just wants to be swimming. She just wants to play and have fun. And so we have this dynamic tension between carrying and who listens. So, where does the breakthrough come in that tableau, that kind of two competing forces within me? The breakthrough is actually temperance, which is very interesting. Temperance has been coming up so much lately. So I kind of see that breakthrough from temperance, which is that the answer in this journey to myself is one that's very temperate in nature. It's not just, I'm going to quit my day job and go running off into the hills to buy some goats. Sounds great. I'd like to do that. But also, I need to make sure that I'm giving enough time for my inner child so that she's getting the spaciousness and kindness and just cozy management that she needs. And this is going to be a dance between these two aspects. Now, these are kind of the tree trunk of the tree, right? So this is the beginning of that story. This is the start of the narrative. And from there, we come to both the intention and the damage. So what is the intention? What is the intention that we or I need to create in order to carry forward this breakthrough process between responsible me and child me? Intention is death. And interestingly enough, I want to show you this image because, in this Tarot of the Witch's Garden, we see that there's a little girl, isn't there? And she is offering up a pumpkin to death. And it almost looks like as if his hand is kind of opening the cloak, but maybe in a way where he will not actually accept her offering. That it's not, they don't have a relationship yet, do they? And so when I see this intention, again, I feel like the intention is really asking Spirit to help me find the balance in a way that will not destroy everything. I don't know about who of you that are listening live, but I don't know about you, but I know that it's not uncommon for women, especially of a certain age, where we just want to get in our cars and drive and just keep driving until the gas runs out. And then that's just where we're going to be now forever and ever. Amen. Right. So there's a feeling of we don't need to create We don't need to create, the worst possible scenario or have a, come to Jesus moment. That in fact, there are some things that need to change, but we can do them in a way that feels compartmentalized, but still working with one another. I would have read that death card very, very differently had it not been us kind of talking about the inner child here. And then there's a child in this image. So, of course, I'm going to use what I see in the image to also inform the approach I may take when describing what is happening to the card. So then we have damage, like nothing, even if we do things like gently, there's always collateral damage, isn't there? And so what we have here is the Hierophant is the damage. And we see the Hierophant, we see a woman, a wise woman who's teaching and visiting, two young children are visiting her, right? So the damage is, and this is really interesting because I have been feeling this, that I've been trying to take it a little more easily and I haven't had time to really build out the courses that I want to build. So that has been absolutely a bit of collateral damage as I've tried to create a little more spaciousness for myself, that I can't do all the things all the time. And I need to be okay with that. And so what's the lesson finally here? What's the lesson as the result of kind of really understanding the relationships that I have built in this journey back to my true self? And we have the moon. And the moon for me is, tolerance for ambiguity, that we don't have to know it all. We don't have to do it all. We can sit in the liminal and get healed. We can also sit in the liminal and wait until something that feels more directive to come through, that we can have moments of summer and then moments of winter, moments of rest and moments of growth. And we can do this in a very gentle way, but there is some stuff that will be collateral damage as a result. And then finally, what's been healed already? Like where are we good? And this is really interesting. So we have 9 of Pentacles, and 9 of Pentacles is the abundance, the abundant woman, the woman who has enough, is walking through the garden, and um everything she sees is the result of her effort and her work. And it, to me, this reading is saying, Jenna, like you achieved, check, you've done this already. We need to have a new relationship now, one that's far more balanced, one where we have to sometimes make decisions, not always easy ones where there's an intention or process of shifting. And then finally, the lesson is that it's okay to not always be super directive, that we can take our time to absorb and take in. So that is kind of a brief way that you could play with this. And every time I do this, I create a different spread with different relationship flows. And you can do this with anything. You can create your own spread. All you have to do is just write words on a piece of paper and then randomize how that's going to look as a spread. You can even just create an alternate deck of just 50 to 100 alternate position words like past, spirit, will, temperament, danger, whatever you want. And then you can even randomize that. So you could have a randomized positional statements. You can have a randomized spread that will do its own thing each time. And then finally, you have a randomized card pull. But no matter how random you make it, it's always going to give you something really, really important to consider and think about. So give this a try. Create your own dancing spread and see how it shifts and changes as you shift and change too. So have a lot of fun with this. I hope you like this idea. And if you run with it, let me know what you do with it. So until next time, my friends, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful rest of your week and play with tarot. Bye, guys.